10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome to the European Pro League Southeast Asia, where we have the beginnings of the group stage, much like the European circuit. Direborn, who are the former Baroja roster, officially picked up by an esports organization. Very happy for them. D Family, meanwhile, the players from the former Yangon Galacticos roster. Apparently, Myanmar has so much talent that they have now divided their rosters into multiple ones. You still have YG, you still have D Family, you still have Lun, as well as Skillday and Momo competing with two different set of mid laners as well as carry players. N1 and Ha, who are Spider-Man and Goldship that you can see on your screens. Not to mention, this roster plays exactly like YG's previous roster, or well, their previous roster from Skillday as well as Lun. They play the exact same kind of tempo, exact same kind of play style, and I can't wait to see what they're going to be able to offer, especially since Direborn, Direborn, Pota 2 is the mid laner to watch out for from Southeast Asia as far as the tier 2 to tier 3 scene goes. We'll see what they're going to be able to do. As far as the draft is concerned, Direborn actually go for Vomi's Lycanthrope instead of, or rather, sorry, they are going to be going for, Vomi's Lycanthrope. DB is their carry player, and they have. I haven't exactly seen what their Death Prophet can actually do, but this is one of those games where the pure push potential coming in from the DP is going to be outmatched, or rather equally matched, considering you have a Lycan on the other side. You have that same kind of push potential coming in. Direborn to go for their last pick. Meanwhile, D Family have picked up a Gyrocopter as their carry, an unconventional carry, so to speak, because not a lot of teams actually picked this carry up. The Drow Ranger was also an option, good against the Lycanthrope. Once you get to that Aghanim Scepter, you're able to also take out the Helm of the Overlord creep. And Direborn are just going to go for that. They will have the multi-shot to stop the push from coming in. The Hurricane Pike will allow you to reposition yourself against the Clockwork. I'm surprised they actually go for that, because you did have the Wind Ranger. You could have actually opted into that as far as your carry is concerned, and you could have picked up a different support rather than have a Wind Ranger support. It's good, it's great, don't get me wrong, but having a Drow is still a bit risky. What if you get overwhelmed? Considering you have a pretty greedy lineup, Vomi is not going to be participating all that much. Not to mention, you don't actually have that, initiator offlaner. You have a Phoenix and a Wind Ranger who have to be the ones to go in first, and the Lycan's going to be assassinating, or at least attempting to assassinate, the backlines on the line and the Clockwork. Can't exactly go one-to-one against a Death Prophet, but you can actually take out the Gyrocopter. Like, it is a pseudo frontliner in the sense that when you have a shapeshifted wolf running after you, or rather a shapeshifted werewolf, it should be a werewolf, but it's actually a wolf, running after you, you don't have a choice but to actually fight back, and your Gyrocopter will need backup in as far as that is concerned. And so that's where the Death Prophet and the Underlord do come in. I do wonder, though, if they're going to be going for some auras this game, or if this is just going to be a standard ATOS game for the Underlord, into the Aghanim Scepter and whatnot. So we'll see how exactly that comes about. The logos are also attached in the screen. So game number 1 in this best of 3 matchup, the first one of the day. We have 2 lined up for you. They will be with a bit of a break. It's at 11 a.m. Singaporean time, and then at 1700 Singaporean time. Those are our 2 match timings, and we have a bit of a pause before we resume with the game. I forgot to wish you all a good morning. This is, of course, the opportunity to do so, because when the European matches start up, it's already past morning for most of us over at Southeast Asia. The game is also resumed. When I take a look at both matchups, I do think that, well, each draft may have its different strengths. But if Direborn's draft actually ends up working out, if they actually find their farm, they have 2 carries, essentially, right? And that's where I think they might actually come out ahead. If you get to the BKBs, you don't necessarily have to care about the Underlord and his Atos or his Pit of Malice or his Firestorm or whatever spells the D family actually throw in towards you. You can just outright click them. And not to mention, the lion is a free kill for the Ember Spirit towards the mid game. Doesn't really have that much to offer unless he's the one going in first for that disabled. And if that does happen, you don't have that big of a window to be able to get the kill. A lot of your damage is overtime, right? The Underlord relies on an extended teamfight, so too does the Death Prophet with her Exorcism. Gyrocopter can come in with some amount of burst with the Rocket Barrage, as well as the flat cannons and the call down, but isn't exactly going to be able to burst targets before he gets to that Daedalus. So it's going to be interesting to see how, or rather what the plan is from D family to be able to burst and get some kills with their Finger of Death. Certainly that is a big ability to have as far as the initial jump goes. The first 2 seconds of your initial jump go. Bot lane, Jarim going to take in a bit of damage, but so will Momo. DB is there to make sure. Well, I mean, DB needs to also make sure he doesn't take in the entire Firestorm, because he also has dropped about 40% health just now. All of the waves of that Firestorm come in. There is no stun on this lane for DB. He has a position 5 Phoenix beside him. So that does mean that Skillay and Momo, who have multiple disables, can potentially opt in for or look for the kill. Jarim shouldn't necessarily rely on his Icarus dive, simply because Icarus ain't diving away from this position. Not against the Earth Spike plus the Hex plus the Pit of Malice. Those are 3 disables that you're playing against, and you don't exactly have too much HP because you will remain a support in this lane. And have to be careful about when it is that you have to go in, or rather, how exactly you plan on going out. You know, some kind of an escape plan. "12 lost hits for the Lycan already building up. Direborn are actually coming off to a pretty fast start. This is the first month of the Direborn organization. I wish them, the very best of luck. They've also announced an esports league for Indonesia, which is fantastic to see, right? Some local growth in Indonesia, since there are quite a few teams, Reconics, who are, or rather, who have recently qualified to the Esports World Cup in a best of 5, taking down Glyph, who have appeared at the European Pro League quite often. I would say they've participated in over 2 seasons of EPL. So we'll see what they're going to be able to do. N1. I wonder if his next is it's a ship made of gold, or it's a gold color ship. It is basically every ship. It's like a brown ship. Pota 2, despite of playing the Ember Spirit, is not that far behind the Death Prophet. This is supposed to be a one-sided matchup, right, in favor of the Death Prophet, but now it does seem like with the levels coming up for the DP, the Ember Spirit is going to continually struggle on this mid lane. Can't exactly trade against N1, right? Every single time you enter melee range, you're going to be getting hit by the Spirit Siphon, and then you just have to walk back. So it's not even worth it to attempt a trade against the Death Prophet. You can activate your Flame Guard and go to work, but I have a feeling most of your Flame Guard is just going to be spent for just trying to secure these creep waves, of which he only got the 1 creep. But this is that is a bit rough. And again, they are playing a very greedy lineup. Skillay able to pick up the kill on Jarim, and lo and behold, Jarim tried to dive away, but you can't dive away from this position. Once you're in, you're in. It's a ride or die. So that has to be something you are very careful about. Even though Momo doesn't actually have too much CS, so it is a bit of shaky, a bit of a shaky start as far as the CS is concerned for both teams. Both teams have either someone like the mid lane Ember who is struggling in terms of CS, and Momo on the off lane struggling in terms of CS. But the difference here is Momo will go for a Soul Ring eventually, and he has the Firestorm, so he can flash farm, right? His ability to recover on his farm is considerably more than the Ember Spirit, and so it's okay if he's kind of behind as far as the last hits are concerned. Like, he'll be able to manage his recovery. Can Pota2? Because once an Ember or a Void Spirit fall behind, it is hard for them to actually manage that recovery. Gillet falls towards that bot lane. Jerem able to pick up his revenge as the Underlord was busy with the creep wave.
His bottom tower is under attack.
So a 1-for-1 return. Apologies for missing that kill. As it does, it's interesting how that bot lane is having so many kills. I would imagine that you just play it safe. You don't need to put yourself in danger. If you're the Drow Ranger lane, you don't want to necessarily look for some kills. Even though the Drow Ranger has a pretty high damage output as far as the early game is concerned, just with the multi-shots. There is a pick-off attempt coming towards Pota2. He does not have his remnants, and there's a Hex available from Skill Lay. Is Pota2 going to fall? It is nearly guaranteed. N1 able to play around, taking apart the micro, or rather, the tempo of the tower. And will be able to make it out. So he picks up the kill on the Ember Spirit. Clockwork, meanwhile, will find that self-deny. Deco was looking for the play, or rather the kill there, and Deco is a fantastic Windranger player. I can't wait to see what kind of shackle shots he's gonna land, because the last time I saw Deco play the Windranger, I mean, he found nearly each and every single one of those shackle shots. And sure, they have a lack of control in their lineup, but with Deco playing the Windranger, that they have an excess of disables, I would say, because he's gonna be disabling multiple heroes every single time. Like, just wait and watch. The Death Prophet. Oh, Pit comes out. Deco does get hit by the ATOS and clipped by the Pit. Enough so that the Earth Spike can catch him, and that is an easy kill to pick up. I don't think they'll expend the Exorcism. They have the Catapult coming in. Will be able to take apart the tier 1 tower. As far as the tempo is concerned, they are consistent with that. Even though it is going to be a trade, Womi will be able to take apart the top lane tower. So it is not that bad for Direborn. They have some bit of space around the map, and all they really have to do is mitigate the kind of losses they are faced up with around, as far as the map control is concerned, right? You make sure that you can retain some form of map control up until that 30-minute mark, and the Drow Ranger is going to do the rest of the work. She will be able to carry you in this game, out carry the Gyrocopter by far, right? Take out the Death Prophet too, because the Frost Arrows, once you hit that hypothermia, 10% health restoration loss per stack. You can also, you can stack it up to a maximum of 9 stacks. So 90% health restoration loss means that the Bloodstone for the Death Prophet eventually, when it comes out, if it even does, except that Satanic, on the Gyrocopter eventually. So that's why the Drow Ranger in this game is particularly good. Oh, Ember Spirit finding a 2 kills over on that bot lane. Momo able to make it out, but it's also the Gyrocopter missing kills across the board simply because they're happening all around the map. Womi was able to find a solo kill. Essentially, Deco was there with a shackle shot. But again, you have to be a bit careful, and the fact that you lose 3 heroes back to back, that's your entire lead. Sure, you do take out the Drow Ranger, but you got punished for it quite severely.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Porter 2 on the mid side is gonna get hit by the hook shot. They were waiting for him. Atos also comes out, and despite the illusion rune, he's still gonna get hit by those chain disables, but able to remnant away regardless. Despite the 3, or rather 4, I can't even count how many stuns there were. The Atos the cogs pushing him back. That's 2 Earth Spike and Hikes. That's 4, and the silence, or rather no silence. Maybe if there was a silence, they would have been able to find the kill there. Oh, they do find Deco, who finds a nice 2-man shackle shot, but it won't really matter. He is stuck in this position. Skill Lay might actually fall to the neutral creeps. Unfortunate result there, but he gets sent back to the fountain free of cost. You know, denying yourself is considered a teleport back to the fountain. That's some next level IQ play. Even if it is unintentional, you can always claim that it is. DB is stuck towards this bottom lane. Egg also comes out. DB is guaranteed to fall. Hook shot also clips him. Jarem, though, with the egg, has been able to deal significant damage on the gyrocopter, but it doesn't seem to matter. Or rather, it does seem to matter. The gyrocopter has gone down, but the damage, you know, that you did lose your Drow Ranger. Sure, it's a 1-for-1, but your Drow Ranger did not get any of that experience.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
Ember Spirit appears to be in a bit of a bind. He wants to farm up for his Mage Slayer. We'll pan into the net worth. Apologies for not tuning into it earlier. The Lycan is at the very top of the net worth chart. Womi, with the helm of the Overlord, every single time you leave this top side alone, you lose an objective. Every single time there is a team fight around the map, you lose an objective. And every single time you leave your Death Prophet alone, there is a kill. They'll be able to take him down despite the response coming in. N1 does stay alive for a little while longer. Maybe he'll be able to stick around. He can't, though. Womi was able to take him down, and the hum of the Overlord creep is going to make quick work of the Lion as well. A great shackle shot found by Deco means that Lun is going to be the 3rd casualty, as Momo attempts to go with the teleport out, will be successful, but 3 heroes fall on the side of D family. Direborn will be able to take apart this tier 2 tower towards that top lane, and maybe even the tier 1 towards that mid lane. A simultaneous assault coming in from the Drow Ranger on that mid side, as well as a 1 team fight on that top lane, will cement them with a 2,000 net worth advantage.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Gaia as well as the Atos available for the Death Prophet. As the Gyrocopter has the point booster. Oh, Death Prophet. Very low on his HP, isn't able to survive for very long. Has a Spirit Siphon though, so that will mean that DP stays alive. Pota 2 is looking for an additional Sleight of Fist, but that won't be enough. DP has the... well, the... where is it coming from? It is from the Ash Legion shield is coming from the Lion. So the DP has that. DB coming in. I don't know if they have enough damage to take Momo out. He has a Vanguard as well, so they won't be able to do so. They use the Atos on that ancient black dragon. They create a fossil out of the ancient there. But still, it's a lot of map control for a Drow Ranger, right? The DB has all the farm in the world, and now they can just settle down. They can just play it slow. They can farm the entire map and allow DB to actually just carry this game from this point. They also have Vomi at the very top of the net worth chart, so he has his own part of the map where he can constantly play in, whether it's that bot lane or that top side, constantly look for the split push. As over on the mid lane, Momo, he gets spotted out, shackled down by Deco with a sunbeam laser coming in from Jarim. A killing spree going the way of the Phoenix, as Direborn are on a 3,000 net worth advantage. With the Death Prophet continuing to farm up, but really needs quite a few items before she has any semblance of survivability. It turns out that the damage coming out towards the DP is simply too much for her to play with. It is Lun who is getting hit by the Sunbeam, will be able to hookshot away, but it's taken down by Jarim.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
What's that?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
A 4-man smoke comes out. Lone initiates with that hookshot. Gillet is there with the Hex as well as the Earth Spike that's going to come out. Ember Spirit held down inside of the pit as well. Polar 2 will be able to use the Illusion Rune, but can he make his way out? He can't. The silence is too much for him. They will shut him down for about 40 seconds as well as Vomi is able to pick up the kill on Lun without ever needing to step foot in the team fight. It is the courier of Deco that is going to get chased down as Amaterasu loses his life. I believe that is the courier's name. A 3-man smoke comes out from the Radiant side. They want to make a play towards the Death Prophet. The Wolves are giving them vision, as well as slowing the DP down. DB, he is gonna jump in, but Deco can't find the shackle shot angle, simply because there is none to be found. That was a very, I would say, tenacious or bold play coming out, which the chances of which were working out were like less than 10% in my opinion. All the meanwhile, we haven't taken a look at the Gyrocopter, who is at the second place position in terms of net worth, has the Aghanim Scepter, who has the Chrysalis, is going for a BKB. So this Gyrocopter will hit big. The flak cannons may just take out... Well, to be fair, the heroes are tanky on Direborn. Wind Ranger has the Wind Run, so most of the hits are not going to be striking her. The Phoenix has the Egg, so even as he drops low, he can just pop the Egg. At the same time, it does seem like the D family are going to be giving up Roshan as DB picks up the Aegis. But Direborn or D family are going to be looking for the Tormentor. Unfortunately, they don't actually have the numbers here to be able to take the Tormentor out.
Deceptive rune of invisibility.
Yes.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And that will give the space to Direborn to be able to take this Tormentor down. It is impressive how they're able to consistently disable D family from pushing, which is what their lineup with the Death Prophet is designed to do, while simultaneously dish out some serious aggression towards these objectives themselves. In fact, they have more towers across the board. Their tier 1 towards that top lane is still standing. DB will be able to take out this bot lane tower and just consistently push even further.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
A pause will come out from Skill Lay. Maybe it's their breakfast. Never mind. They would have said if there was a doorbell or something in the chat. That's how I know that maybe it was their breakfast coming in. Sometimes in the past, they've had to pause because they've had to get the doorbell. Which is understandable. I mean, if you need your food, you need your food. I do wonder how they're going to reverse this tempo, though. Like, how are they going to make the space to be able to make some plays? Is it just the gyrocopter? Are they just waiting for him to get big and tanky? Or rather, big and chunky to be able to take some of these heroes out? That would mean that they need to wait for this Daedalus, which to be fair, they can. They still have a lot of map control. It's not as if taking out towers early on means that you are automatically in a position where you can squeeze the other side. They're still not boxed in, as long as they play together. But it seems like they might be going for a smoke of deceit as soon as Hot takes out the creep wave. Wolves are always a bit of a menace to deal with, as you don't exactly want to play into an Aegis. DB is in possession of the Aghanim Scepter on the Drow Ranger as well.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
But they will still go for a 4-man smoke.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
Hookshot comes in by Lone. DB though will have that second life. But the question is, with the pit, with the cogs, how are they going to be able to assist him? Womi is able to join him, but DB takes in so much of that damage. Will just simply melt. Skill Lay though might end up being the trade in response, but that is not good enough. You need to be able to take someone else out. In fact, Skill Lay, he'll just go out with a teleport. They aren't able to do anything. They just came in and claimed your drow. At the same time, D family do take, or rather, they do lose the tier 2 towers, right? So that wasn't exactly a clean trade, but they played that team fight really well. The pit and the cogs creating that separation over here so that no one else could join in. They had to come in from this side, but only the Lycanthrope actually had the amount of movement speed to be able to enter back into the team fight. Sure, the Phoenix could have decided to dive in, the Ember Spirit could have remnanted in, there were a few options available in that regard, but if your Drow Ranger gets caught out like that, you're not going to be able to help him. The Drow is only as good for as long as he doesn't get caught. Much like the Sniper. You don't have the Hurricane Pikes, you can't exactly force off yourself out in any kind of a, do any kind of a decent position.
Dire are scanning.
But we'll see how exactly they continue the momentum with the Drow, and whether or not the Gyrocopter is going to become too big to fail, as he is very close to his Daedalus, just needs the Demon Edge. Deco is going to get caught, but so too will Momo, facing the full Sunbeam. Gyrocopter and the rest of the family are in though, with the flat cannons. They should be able to get it done. BKB activated, but the egg is in the high ground position, will be able to push them back. DB is going to be able to, or rather, Ha is going to be able to teleport away, but Lun as well as the Underlord will lose their lives in response for just a Wind Ranger. Not a good enough exchange for them. A 6,000 lead has built up for Direborn. It has stayed at this 5 to 6,000 position, I will say that, but there's no way to push at these tier 2s of Direborn. There's no way to acquire some consistent map control, so you're going to be confined to your own part of the map for as long as you can take those team fights.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
X as well as the Impale Porter 2 is going to be fine though. He has the BKB also coming off of cooldown. Activates the BKB and decides to jump in. Finds a two-man steering chains on N1 as well as Ha, but he needs some backup. Skill Lay will go down over on that front line. As Porter 2 continues his chase, has an additional remnant to use, but Deco again can't find the angle for the shackle shot. However, with the Vomi creep stun coming in, maybe they can. Lun also goes in with the hook shot as Momo joins the fight. Earth Spike on top of the Ember Spirit alongside some serious damage will be able to make sure that he goes down, but DB activates his own BKB, and as the Gyrocopter has fallen, this is a lost cause for D Family. They'll just have to get back to their high ground. Tuck tails and run. Direborn now to apply some damage on that tier 3. They don't actually have enough time to be able to take out a full set of barracks, but maybe they're going to be able to take out the ranged barracks at the very least. Or at least this tier 3 tower. It's still, the damage output is missing, but Vomi's creeps do decide to join. The ancient granite golem, this should have some good amount of damage. So this melee barracks is actually taking in quite a bit. No glyph available means that it will in fact be a full set of barracks at the very least. And D Family losing their set of barracks is at the 30-minute mark. Hook shot misses.
Radiant are scanning.
$10,000 of a net worth advantage for Direborn.
Oh, yes.
Dire are scanning.
The rune of regeneration. Your place is here.
Rocket Flare entering the pit to spot out any kind of move, and the move is being made. They have started to take out Roshan, and the fact of the matter is Roshan falls so quickly that the family are not in position. They will just lose the battle, or rather they won't even be able to be close towards Roshan. Age is still now in the hands of DB, and you can't lose another team fight because that will mean that another set of barracks actually falls. You might not even be able to. You might not even have the luxury to allow Pota 2 and his team near your high ground. So there's going to be a backstab. It's going to be towards the Phoenix. They find a two-man Earth Spike. Great exorcism also comes out. This is the best fight they've gotten all game long. Can they actually end up doing it? BKBs are going to be activated by everyone. It's Haw who is in big trouble. Womi, he's going to be able to go towards him. Phoenix Egg also comes out as the gyrocopter is trying to build up some space. BKB is going to be activated and the homing missile will catch Womi. So at the very least, they will be able to escape with their gyro. But still, the Death Prophet lost her life and might actually have to buy back. But even if she does, no exorcism. You don't have that one. You don't have a BKB. All the meanwhile, DB is still holding on to his BKB as well as the Aegis. Doesn't even need to use it for his first life. Is this going to be another set of barracks in a fatal blow? The intent certainly is clear as they've planted down the banner on that mid lane. Tier 3 taking in damage. Lund goes in with the cogs. They find the Earth Spike, they find the pit, and they find the damage. They'll be able to take out the first life, but again, the BKB is going to be there, instantly activated by DB, and they go to work on Momo, who is quite a tanky target to try and take down. Multi-shot is not going to be able to take him out, but they will find Lun. Finger of Death applied on a Drow Ranger, but they forced him out. Skill Lay is the one in trouble. Pota 2 will be able to take the Lion down. In fact, Deco will be able to pick up the kill there. Over on the bot lane, Womi has been able to take out the entire melee barracks alongside that tier 3. They might just be able to find mega creeps here. Womi doesn't actually have too much HP to play with, but there is the hookshot available. Lun goes in, Gyrocopter starts to stack up. It doesn't have a lot of mana, but DB, he's gone down. So that means you have to get back. Womi will BKB TP out. Ember Spirit will also BKB, but does not have a TP. He doesn't have a remnant. He doesn't have a remnant. Is going to be getting clipped by Momo and forced off the way by Deco, but is that going to be enough? He finds the Searing Chains. Silence is going to clip him, but he's created a bit of a gap, even though the Death Prophet does run at him with a decent amount of HP, or rather movement speed. Anyone used his exorcism? That is very awkward. That's an exorcism for nothing.
What did you learn?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The Fiend's Gate comes out as Deco teleports back to his fountain. It is an Aghanim Scepter Fiend's Gate, but you can't lose one more fight. The fact of the matter is you don't have your base is barely standing, and the Direborn only need about 10 seconds, or rather even less than that. They probably only need like 5 seconds to take out the remainder barracks. The range barracks are barely standing, right? 381 HP for the bottom lane one, 198 for the mid lane one, and the melee barracks is the only thing keeping your game intact against mega creeps, or soon to be mega creeps, if you don't turn things around and are able to create a bit of gap between the kind of pushes that are coming in and your own base. You need to be able to push out waves. They have no wave control whatsoever, but that requires them to actually exit their base and go far out, and I don't think they have the luxury to actually go far out. They are forced to huddle up together. One of the silver linings is the fact that the Gyrocopter is at the top of the net worth chart. He has that Daedalus as well as the Satanic. He has plenty of damage to play with, as this has turned into a game of Hero Siege. If you guys remember that custom game back from Dota 1 days, I wonder if that's still a thing now in the Dota 2 client, but
rush forth.
Ranged barracks does get collected.
Are scanning.
As a 15,000 lead exists currently, Drow Ranger will overtake the Gyrocopter, has the Butterfly, which the evasion applies on the flag cannons. So, you know, 35% evasion is quite a lot. Not to mention you have the base attack, the 20% base attack speed percentage, which works with your marksmanship as long as there's no hero nearby. Or rather, the precision aura. Which is changed now, so you don't actually, it's not dependent on someone being nearby enough. Clockwork has that Ghost Scepter. Meanwhile, topside, Momo held back by the Ember Spirit. Pota 2, no Aghanim Scepter up for him, but he has the Regeneration Rune. Only one melee barracks remaining, and that is being chipped away by these wolves. Every single time these wolves come out, the melee barracks takes about 100 to 200 damage, and it's only a matter of time before mega creeps will be acquired. Pota 2 gets jumped. He is stunned up. They are able to apply some decent amount of damage towards him and will be able to take him out. I wonder, he doesn't have a buyback though, so he can't actually come back into this. Deco will also be taken out, and it's a pretty good start to the fight. DB needs to find a way to teleport back to his base, but he doesn't have one. He's just forced to stack up now. Gyrocopter on top of the Drow Ranger has that Satanic to lifesteal back up and will be able to get it done, but the Drow Ranger attempting to take the Gyrocopter out will be successful. The Drow Ranger taking out upon everyone. They will find the entire lineup from the family and take them down. Eventually the Drow Ranger falls, but the damage has set in. There is no way to reverse this. 4 heroes have gone down. In fact, it was an entire team wipe. The Gyrocopter had to come back with a buyback. The beam is not going to matter. These are just 2 supports against the Gyrocopter. They won't be able to take him down. But the family are able to hold on to their melee barracks, the one that still stands, but barely so. That Drow Ranger should have died, but they weren't able to focus him down. And DB was allowed to take your Gyrocopter out. He forced out a buyback that had to come in. And the family, from what was supposed to be a comeback fight, only turned into them delaying the game just for a minute or so. Amplified damage rune up for Pota 2. A 3-man smoke comes out. from the Radiant side. Lone goes in with the hook shot as it's DB in a world of trouble. Activates the BKB and Hurricane pikes away. 4 stopped away from his team as well, able to throw out that multi-shot. They still haven't been able to deal with him. If they will eventually find the Drow Ranger, Gyrocopter is still going strong as Vomi is nullified down. Should just be going for the barracks here as Pota 2 is not going to be able to survive against this. Vomi is going to be, or rather Momo is going to be the trade, but Jarem potentially to get chased down here. Hook shot doesn't clip the Phoenix. It catches the Death Prophet instead. His allied Death Prophet, of course. But it seems like they're not able to finish the game. That's what it feels like. That is truly a comeback fight. It's not going to be a big major comeback as Lun did buy back for it. Eventually you're going to run out of buybacks. The Gyrocopter's buyback is also on cooldown for about 4.5 minutes. Plenty of time for them to go Roshan and then take a fight with an entire Aegis. But maybe right now for the 50 seconds that there's no Ember or even a Drow Ranger, you can take apart the Aegis for yourself. Krell's Corsair available for the Death Prophet. One of the better items for the DP. Avoid the physical damage coming in from the Drow altogether. Deco on that high ground is going to be cut out, but just Wind runs away. Skillday never used any of his spells on the Wind Ranger. And that will mean Pota 2 can actually go in. Aeon Disc forced out by the Ember Spirit. Skillday is going to be the first casualty. They find a Shackle Shot. Deco, he grabbed the Gyrocopter. Roshan will throw him back, but the Gyrocopter drops his Divine Rapier on the deck. DB will be able to pick that one up, and the damage output coming in from the Drow is just insane. Down for about 120 seconds. Time has ran out for the family. Their Death Prophet, their core caught out right now, and no hope for them. That is going to be it. GG has to be called now. They will be forced to tap out of game number 1 as Direborn take the first game in this best of 3.
Dire's middle barracks are radiant victory.
In an anticlimactic series of events, the melee barracks never actually died. They just won back-to-back team fights. The fact that the Gyrocopter was that far isolated, and I'm telling you that Deco's Wind Ranger, it deserves a ban. Deco should not be given his Wind Ranger if you hope to actually find wins against Direborn. You saw the Shackle Shots, right? And that very last Shackle Shot on that Gyrocopter prevented him from doing anything in the team fights. Enough so to the point where Roshan had to come in, throw the Gyrocopter back, and by that point the Gyrocopter had lost so much HP, did not have a single target to lifesteal at the back of. Dropped his Divine Rapier, and well, the game was pretty much over as soon as that Divine Rapier hit the deck. Direborn with the first game win, but D Family looking for some revenge. Let's see if they'll be able to take Direborn to a game number 3 that will require them to win the next game. We will be back with the European Pro League Southeast Asian edition right after a short break. Hey guys, welcome back to the EPL Southeast Asia D-Family versus Direborn, as Direborn are currently one game up. D-Family have gone for the mid lane Zeus, as they seem to want to replicate Tai Lung
5 seconds
with the Zeus, but they'll require a 111-minute game to do so. As far as the Zeus is concerned, I mean, it is a decent hero, but instantly you see the Storm Spirit being picked up for one good reason. The Zeus is very bad against the Storm. Great against the in the lane because, well, he is a Zeus, and Zeuses are very easy to play as far as the laning phase is concerned. Storm Spirit is pretty weak in the laning phase, but after the laning phase, once the Storm has its apps, you have the Clockwork Hook Shot, you have the Phoenix with the dive, and anytime the Zeus gets caught by any of those three abilities, the Storm Spirit is going to jump in. Are they going to be able to protect their Zeus is the big question in my mind. They also do have an Earth Spirit as far as the supports go. Treant Protector 2, a Batrider core, probably because of the Lone Druid. So it will be an offlane Batrider with an Earth Spirit beside him. They can look to take out the Storm multiple times, but it's a Pota 2 Storm. How do you play against Pota 2 on his absolute best hero? Direborn will go for a Timbersaw as their very last pick, so again, plenty of damage, plenty of catch, control, and pushing potential with the Lone Druid Spirit Bear. D-Family, they have the magical damage built in. They have the physical damage too, because the Batrider is pretty good at that, deceptively good at that. What are they going to go for as far as their carry goes? There's no Shadow Fiend, and there's no Drow Ranger left to pick up. So, are you going to go for a Gyrocopter? Didn't really work out last game. You need a better carry than that. But who can actually outcarry a Lone Druid? That is maybe the Mortha would probably be the best one here. But no, they will stick to the Gyrocopter for Haw. Mortha would have been amazing, especially against a Timbersaw as well. The Deadshot prevent his Timber Chain, but you still do have the Batrider's Lasso. But that is kind of all they have as far as solid lockdown goes. The Treant Protector's Overgrowth is good, but not great against the Timbersaw once the BKB comes out. But they do have, I will say this, they do have a lot of damage. And I think damage is the one thing that both teams have in spades. It's just the control where I think the Direborn may be slightly better with. It's still a bit of a question mark in my mind. I think both teams have a solid draft. I'll just say that. But one side has a better carry, and that is Direborn. Lone Druid versus Gyrocopter. Sure, the flag cannons means that you dish out damage against both the Spirit Bear as well as the Lone Druid himself. But if again, it's a simple matter of who gets caught, because if D-Family were to have that big catch, it is going to be at the back of that Batrider's Lasso. But Direborn, you have the hook shot as well as the Storm Zap in, as well as the root coming in from the Lone Druid, or even the Timbersaw chaining in and applying those slows at the back of that Whirling Blade. The execution is much easier from Direborn than it is from the side of D-Family, and that might be the differentiating factor. We'll see if that is going to be the case. Of course, like I'm not going to suggest that one side has a one-sided advantage over the other, because that's quite frankly not true. But one side definitely has the ease of execution, and we'll see if that makes any kind of a difference. As we are in a bit of a pause, but we will resume with the game once we resume with the game. I can't really decide that. I'm not the admin. I am not the players. I don't know what's going on. But there we go. We will now resume with the game. Go calls have been sounded out by both sides as they've readjusted Momi on the Grandmaster Timbersaw. Certainly needs to be said. No one on D-Family have... Well, they don't have Dota Plus? They don't have Dota Plus. Oh, man. They should get Dota Plus. If not for the voice lines, how are you gonna send out? Well, I mean, you can still send out the voice line, but it's interesting, right? So for those of you who don't know, if you have Dota Plus, you get to a certain level, you can still spam out those voice lines. You don't necessarily, even if Dota Plus expires, you have the voice lines that you can send out.
What if they get me?
30 seconds to battle. The battle begins.
Life just got interesting.
Bounty runes being picked up by DB as well as Deco. Skillay has picked up a bounty rune for himself, and that means that you have multiple bounty runes. I mean, every single time you have a lone druid, this is where I think the lone druid should be nerfed, in the sense that his spirit bear shouldn't be allowed to pick up the bounty runes. Like, what is this? A bounty rune free of cost, because you're not going to be spending your entire time taking out 1600 HP at the level 1 mark by using away all of your mana, so he gets a free bounty rune. It's difficult to play against that. That is a very easy advantage that they're able to gain. As far as the laning phase is concerned, Jarim needs to be careful on the Phoenix. If he gets caught ever so slightly, again, it is still possible to dive away in this scenario. Only the rolling boulder from Skill Lake can stop his teleport. Or rather, actually, the Flame Break can stop it too. So there's not as much stopping the Phoenix dive as there was last game with the Lion as well as the Underlord. But you do still have to be careful, because Jaren gave away the first blood in the previous game. This time around, Hall will be able to acquire first blood solo. Takes out Vomi before the creep wave even reaches. Deco was splitting the creep wave, as Direborn will lose their offlaner. There was no creep wave to play with, as, I mean, Vomi just, or rather, Vomi just went down like that. 2 Hall. Great first blood kill being found with the gyrocopter. Already immediately hits that level 2 before anyone else across the board is even close to their level 2. I mean, Deco has about 28 experience. So a pretty good start for a comeback as far as that is concerned. Batrider 2 also having a creep wave behind his tier 1 tower. As Porta 2 on the mid lane is going to take in quite a bit of damage. And you are on a bit of a timer. Porta 2 is going to be able to reach the water rune. Drops down this remnant, which meant that the Zeus couldn't actually chase in after him. He can drop another remnant down over in that position, but there's the living armor that comes in from the tree and protector will mean that anyone will just be able to replenish his HP. At the same time, they're going to apply some serious damage on Momi once more. He does have the living armor now, so has that additional HP regen per second. 5 HP regen per second at the back of that level 1 reactive armor. So these two teams are settling in now. DB has 14 CS. Zeus has the most amount of CS in the game with 18, and the gyrocopter, expectedly, he is doing quite well. DB's courier is going to be sniped out, but only after it delivers the necessary items, as Porta 2 falls. N1 is able to take him down all by himself. That is the weakness of the Storm Spirit in the laning phase. He doesn't really have that much to play with. Zeus comes in with too much damage. And that is really good, don't get me wrong. That is amazing. That is the kind of start you need, you want. That is a dream start, in fact, for in-game Dota 2. Your carry finds a solo kill on the offlaner. Your mid laner finds a solo kill on the opposing mid laner. I mean, it can't get much better than that. But you are making Porta 2 angry. And we all have seen how he gets when he gets angry. When he's playing with drive. Right? This is a player that you really don't want to test the limits out with. Because Porta 2 will destroy you with, if he decides to really dial it in. But you'll see if that is going to be the case, because in this game, you are playing against a mid laner, N1, who is fantastic. As he demonstrated with the first blood earlier, or rather the solo kill earlier. So we'll see exactly how Porta 2 adjusts for this. Whether he gets shut down eventually, or if he's able to mount up a comeback. And it is very much now a comeback scenario, because you've given away solo kills on both your off lane as well as the mid lane. Root does not actually clip Momo. Skillay will not be able to go in with a rolling boulder. If that landed, Jerem would have been dead. As Deco does come in towards the mid lane, but unable to find the Zeus. Earth Spirit is going to get hit, or not going to get hit by the rocket flare. It barely doesn't it barely misses. Do let me know if the mic volume is fine, guys. You can type out mic volume is fine, and then I will know. 32 CS on the gyrocopter, 32 on the Storm 2. So the Storm has managed to find his recovery as far as that is concerned. Only 11 CS from Momo, which is surprising. He's playing a Batrider. They make a play towards DB. They don't smash him back though, and the teleport comes in from Deco. Momo is going to get rooted as 2 kills come out against D Family. They didn't get the boulder smash. They should have smashed him back, but I think the idea there was you would have smashed him out of the fire trail and DB would have taken in even less damage, but they just kind of ran into a brick wall there. A wall made of fire and bear. And I don't want to think it, but you know, it is in my head. The solo kills that you were able to get. Now you've given away a significant lead towards that top lane. Your Batrider only has 13 CS. Momo is not doing well for himself. So does this mean that the DB is going to snowball out of control on a lone druid that can essentially tilt even the best of players, as we've seen with an interesting and comedic set of plays at Blast Slam? Momo again trying to run out. One more hit and, well, I mean, he's taking the entangle counter, but needs the Spirit Bear to apply the hit. Deco hits the deck towards the bottom lane, but Haw will be the trade in response. And Haw only got about 96 gold because it was the Treant Protector. It was Lun who got the kill on the Clockwork. So that does not make it a worth it exchange. Sure, you get a fair bit of experience, but losing your carry gyrocopter is not that good. He in fact lost about 90 gold to that exchange and didn't gain any kind of experience. Definitely a bad trade for the family. Both, oh wow, both Shrines of Wisdom collected up by the family, or rather the team against the family, collected by Direborn. And that is not good. That is definitely not good. The family were the ones to collect both Shrines of Wisdom last game, but now they have them go the other way. And this is a game where you do need your level 6s. You want to play with the Magnetize, you want to play with the Lasso, the Overgrowth. Those are big ultimates to have. But now the Clockwork will have that early Herc Shot. The Phoenix will have that early Egg. Now, to be fair, the supports on Direborn, only one of them got the experience, right? They still hit their level 5 on Jerem, but it was the 2 cores to actually connect them, Womi plus DB. Skillay is level 3. Oh, Pota 2 needs to be careful. Thunder God's Wrath was being primed. Pota 2, though, was able to zap away and has the Lotus as well as the Bounty Rune. So, Amplify Damage Rune activated, he'll be able to find his farm with this. Good look for a play, but he's very far away from anyone nearby. They do catch Momo with the scan, and the Pota 2 still has plenty of duration left on his amplified damage. At the very least, he'll be able to take apart most of these stacks. He goes in towards Momo, decides to farm up these stacks instead, but no, he gets Momo, who walked right back in. He walked right back in. N1 will be able to take Jerem down without expending his Thunder God's Wrath, and will be able to take this Observer Ward out too, so a good response at the very least. But Momo is kind of bungling these plays. He's kind of not really able to make it worth it, as Pota 2 will just zap away entirely towards that bottom lane. Womi could be faced with that strike, that rooting strike from Lun. I wonder what it's called. because it's just the nature's guy's damage, or rather the stun. Like there's it's not even in the dual lips. But they might be able to take him down. Now, level 9 Timbersaw at the 9-minute mark. Despite the shaky start, Womi has found a near fantastic, a near perfect recovery.
Are scanning.
And has plenty of reactive armor stacks. N1 is guaranteed dead here. Pota 2 has his number. And again, this is the weakness of the Zeus, but towards that bottom lane, we'll have to hold that thought. Womi will be connected up. A great trade in response being found by D family. They take apart the Timbersaw, are able to apply significant pressure towards this tier 1 tower. Maybe even have to force out some rotations that are going to come in, but no one's really coming. They're just going to go back. The catapult wave is now coming in, so the fact that the fact that there are 3 heroes here, they may stick around, take out this catapult from the opposing team. But the creep wave went the other way. Oh, never mind. Half of the creep wave is still here. So they should be able to apply some pressure here. Womi does teleport back. And so there won't be any pressure as far as that is concerned. Maelstrom almost at the ready for DB. In fact, it is flying out towards him. An 11-minute Maelstrom with the power treads and all of the branches available for the Spirit Bear. This is a fantastic timing for him. At the same time, you do have Ha, who is farming up. Chrysalis available, Falcon Blade available, is now farming up for his Aghanim Scepter, is going to be teleporting towards that top lane tower.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Fear is going to be coming out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
N1 goes down once more, this time around to just a support duo. There were no rotations that came in, just the Phoenix and the Clockwork being a nuisance to the Zeus. And that doesn't bode too well. Sure, you take apart the tier 1 tower towards that top lane, but Pota 2, he's there on the mid lane. 10 seconds up for the Zeus before he comes back into this lane. Treant Protector is going to teleport in, but the Remnant pops, so they know he's there. They know someone is there. I don't think they know it's a Treant Protector. You might have an idea that it is a tree, right? The fact that some support is here. This mid lane tower has taken in significant damage. Deco is going to come in from the side, but he does get hit by the rolling boulder, and Deco will hit the deck once more. Living armor is level 3. They should be able to replenish this tower, maybe top it back up. And that does mean that you may need Direborn, or Direborn may need to stick around over on the mid lane to make sure this tower actually falls down. As Lun is not using the living armor towards the mid lane. Phoenix Egg is up, so is the hookshot. Meanwhile, the rest of them continue to farm up. Gyrocopter, first component of the Aghanim Scepter built online, and we'll have the second component also coming up shortly.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Ooh, Skill Lay actually falls.
Radiant are scanning. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Thunder God's Wrath comes out. I apologize for missing that one, boys. Momo is going to be the trade in response. Womi and both offenders are actually traded out here, but Pota 2 is going for a teleport towards that bot lane. Does not want to give his Shrine of Wisdom up. Lun is going to be collected up. Unfortunately, has been isolated away. It will be Jarim to pick up the Shrine of Wisdom. Again, the 14-minute Shrine goes the way of Direborn on both sides of the map.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And N1, sure, he has the Kaya. He's going for the Aghanim Shard. Once he has that, he's going to be able to farm up very quickly. But it's I don't know if it's enough. That's the thing I find myself scratching my head with, or rather, I'm scratching my head with my hands, obviously. But you get the point, right? It's these tempo-based heroes that are getting way too much done. The objectives that are single-handedly going in the hands in favor of Direborn. Sure, they don't have the towers down, but you have the top lanes. They're safe. The safe lane tower down. The mid lane tower is very low on its HP. Hasn't been healed up by the Treant Protector. He's keeping his living armor. Isn't using it on these towers, which is strange because you can't keep this tower alive. And now it's in deny range, so you might as well deny it. Well, not really. You can still heal this back up. Like, you can bring this up if you're the Treant Protector, but I suppose maybe like that is the only explanation that I can think of. Maybe he's saving it so that he can apply it towards some of his allies. Now the heal comes online for the tower finally.
Radiant are scanning.
At the same time, they are looking towards the tree. Man, oh man, if he dies while having a living armor on cooldown, he is never going to heal that tower again. But maybe they want to look for a play on Vomi. Now, he does have plenty of HP. No consecrated wraps, but it is going to be Lun. He applies the heal on himself, but it's too late. It is very late. He will just be going down. Oh. Zeus gets pushed back away from the illusion rune. A triple push coming in by Deco. They'll be able to take the Zeus down eventually. As for the 2, he might just be able to go on towards Skill Lay. In fact, it's be the Clockwork who'll take Skill Lay out. Illusion rune denied away by the Gyrocopter, so it will at least be Deco who will get traded out in response. Good kill to be found, but for the 2, he jumps in. Wants to take out the Gyrocopter. Vortex applied, the Phoenix Egg also comes out, and the Gyrocopter is dead to rights. They'll take apart the tier 1 tower as well, all for a measly Clockwork. You would take that trade any day of the week, any time of the day, and any day of the year. Really, at any time. Like, for as long as the Dota 2 has existed, your position 5 for 3 heroes, your position 5 for a core. Heck, I'd give my position 5 away for a few stacks.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
What sort of prize is this?
Skill Lay. They do catch him. In fact, Deco, he hook shots towards the Zeus. That is the real target you want to go for. Vortex is applied, but Momo, he jumps in with that lasso. They have the Storm Spirit who will melt, and they keep the Zeus alive for enough time to take out the Storm, as well as the Clockwork. And one would eventually go down to Vomi's Chakram, but that is perhaps the first time that I've seen a trade go the way of the family. Earth Spirit jumps in. Phoenix, he has the egg. Cannot just plant it down. Momo has to get back. They aren't going to be able to keep the Batrider alive. They are able to take out the egg, but now Vomi with that Spirit Vessel on him is going to be falling up next. And that is essentially a 4 for 2. 4 heroes of Direborn falling for the 2 heroes of D family across the whole minute. And again, it is pretty good. The Gyrocopter is at the very top of the net worth chart, has the Aghanim Scepter, is going to be able to get to that BKB. So this is going to be another game, like game number 1, where you have a really farmed up Gyrocopter. But similar to game number 1, you're playing against a carry who is stronger than the Gyrocopter. You're playing with a Lone Druid, and at the end of the day, DB with just his Lone Druid will be able to take apart any of these supports. Or rather, even the Zeus, even the Batrider. None of them can actually contest the bear. And it might just be a situation where your Batrider's lassos are just being used on the Spirit Bear if it gets too big. When it gets too big. Deco has the Blink Dagger up at the ready.
Dire are scanning.
Lone Druid. Wow, DB is just gonna melt. DB is just dead. That is fantastic for their side. As it seems like Direborn, they want to get a trade in response. They want something done here.
Radiant are scanning.
Fortitude is going to jump in. He finds the perfect vortex on towards the Gyrocopter. Sunbeam is going to make sure the Gyrocopter falls down, and this team fight is done. It's over. They're trying to take out the egg, but it's not going to be possible. Lun is going to fall next as a hookshot is found on Momo. They'll be able to take him down as Vomi applies the chakram.
Radiant
Vomi
is under attack. Radiant are
sacrifice made by that clockwork, and it cannot be in vain. Vomi will secure and make sure of that. Direborn are now on a 7,000 advantage with an Aegis on a hero that is fantastic with the Aegis. The Storm Spirit. Vomi? He goes in. Greed has gotten to him, or rather Momo. He goes in for the lasso, wants to take about the Phoenix at all costs. Will be able to find it, but I do believe he has given up his life for it. Or has he? He will be able to blink away, and in fact be able to teleport away. So, great kill actually found by him.
Stupendous.
But still, that Spirit Bear is awkward to play against. That Spirit Bear is just... There's a reason why a lot of pro players have complained about the absurdity of the Spirit Bear, even despite of the nerfs, right? Even the level 10 talent for the Spirit Bear, it's awkward to play around. Another zap on Momo. Living armor is not really going to be that effective. Fortitude now on a dominating streak. 8, 2, and 6 on the Storm.
structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom
As DB is just going to constantly push with his Spirit Bear now having the Aghanim's. DB doesn't even need to be there. He's just going to farm up the jungle.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Applying damage on a tier 3, a bit premature at this stage. But with the kind of things that are going their way, with the fact that they have 2.5 minutes of that Aegis, even if the Storm goes down, he'll be right back with the consecrated wraps. They'll be able to take the tier 2 tower out. Lasso does grab Vomi. He does have, or rather, he's going to melt. Photo 2 though jumps in on towards the gyrocopter, who has to activate his BKB. Will be able to make it back to his base. And they do find Vomi, so a good kill in exchange for your tier 2, I suppose. Like, I wouldn't actually say that's really good for them. They should have found more in that team fight, particularly because they had to use the BKB too on the gyrocopter. Aghanim Scepter is up for N1. If he's able to get to this refresher, suddenly the damage output just increases multiple folds. So you may actually find the team fight wins that you're looking for, the comeback that you are looking for, but he is the least farmed core in the game. 12,000 net worth, just 4,000 above that of the Phoenix, who is a position 5. Photo 2 wants to convert the outpost before he helps out the bear, or I don't think he's going to help out the bear at all. 355 gold going the way of N1, certainly a big boost to his refresher that he wants to look for. Photo 2 has 17 galvanized charges and a full minute of the Aegis left. Vomi will teleport to the outpost, and perhaps they're going to look for something on the mid lane, depending on if Skillday or Momo appear over here. But Photo 2, he's already zapped away towards the triangle. Has 23 mana regen per second, so 40 seconds, that's 1,000 mana. Right? He doesn't even need to go back to the fountain. He gets a remnant every 3 seconds. Oh, Thunder God's Wrath has come out, as there is a tree on top of a cliff. Deco is chased down here and will be taken out. The egg also comes out. Skillday is potentially going to be taken out by Photo 2. He uses the Yuzo, and Vomi is again going to fall. Skillday stays alive, and it will be Photo 2 who is in trouble. Aegis has expired as well, and he has no mana. The homing missile is going to chase in after him, and he will guaranteed go down. The best exchange the family have gotten all game long, and the entirety of it gone. Direborn make a big error in judgment.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant are scanning.
Direborn Esports. I like their logo. As Photo 2 is, you know, even though he's farmed up, he has fallen behind. He is now the least farmed core in the game. And he doesn't actually have many items. Consecrated Wraps are good to survive with, but if you get caught, you're dead anyway. Right? The amount of damage coming up from the gyrocopter is simply too much. Daedalus as well as the Reaver built up, and he now has a Satanic, and is going to be going for that Divine Rapier up next. This game has completely turned around on its head, and the family, all they really need is one singular team fight to wipe out the base. DB is playing a hero that is a better carry, but can't one-to-one against a gyrocopter who is this stacked up. Unless his Spirit Bear is able to get free hits. Where is his bear? I don't see it around the map. Well, rather, now I see it. There it is. Silver Edge, Mjolnir, and the Aghanim Scepter. Right, it's not enough though. Not enough to take out the gyro. And the farm is divided between him and the Spirit Bear, of course, but DB is going for a BKB on the bear, interestingly. Silver Edge does mean that if you cast a Treant Protector, if you give a gem to this bear, then he can essentially take out the tree whenever he wants. They'll be able to take out the bear. He uses a Savage Roar, won't be able to teleport out, so that is another 365 gold going the way of the Earth Spirit for Skill Lay. I wonder how many bears have actually fallen. Starting to become an what do you call it, an endangered species at this point. Some bears are. Human beings are horrible at taking care of wildlife outside of creating entertainment out of them. It is early in the morning for those dark thoughts, but it has to be said, we need to do better as a species. Unless we've already given up, you know, which is what I think is partly true around the world.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire are scanning. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tier 2 tower also having been taken out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
For the 2, he has gone for the zap. The ping directly on top of the Batrider. Man, even the pings are right in position. Now, there's no gyrocopter in this position. There's no Zeus, but the Zeus has the refresher as well as the Aghanim Scepter. But this unfortunate pause is going to give them the time to react. Oh, the gyrocopter doesn't have a TP. It's over. I don't know if he's teleporting towards, or rather, he isn't. It's over. You know.
Looking for me?
He has a third eye.
That was lame.
I wonder if that's true. Now, because the game is paused and he has a Blink Dagger off of cooldown, he's probably just gonna zap back, right? This pause has kind of messed up how Direborn want to play this. So they might not choose to actually go in anymore. That is unfortunate, but it is what it is, I suppose. Go call has been sounded out. As the hookshot will miss, Momo is able to blink away. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to with that pause had not come out, but you know, that's an alternate reality at this point. For the 2 is just going to jump on that storm spirit, or on that gyrocopter, and the gyro does take in plenty of damage. Already at about half of its HP, DB will activate the BKB on that spirit bear, but forced to get back. It is a Batrider lasso, but is the Batrider catching anyone? If they go back in towards the gyrocopter, who activates his BKB, able to make it away because of the roots coming in, the overgrowth being committed. But Momo is going to be the one casualty. Deco has the hookshot once more. 70 seconds without your Batrider. Roshan is up. So that probably means that Direborn will be acquiring the next Aegis. There is no Thunder God's Wrath, no Refresher, no Magnetize, no Overgrowth, no Call Down. Well, that one's going to come back up. But there's no Batrider, right? It's literally no ultimate, and no Batrider, you're never going to take a 4v5 fight. There's no BKB either for Haw, so this is just a free Roshan. You'd have to be crazy to contest this. But sometimes it takes a little crazy to do something spectacular. At least they'll use the Nimbus. And the Nimbus gives a fair bit of gold, so I do think you need to be careful. A lot of Zeus's are careless with the Nimbus. Skilday won't be able to make it out. Parasma, or rather, it's still the Witchblade. Arcane Rune towards that bottom lane. As the Spirit Bearer is going to spot out the fact there's no top lane rune. Pota 2 will be able to go towards that bot lane. 25% reduction on cooldown, 30% reduction on mana cost. Again, it seems like the Storm Spirit is probably the most versatile hero in terms of making use of the runes. Even with a bounty rune, he gets quite a bit. Simply because he's able to replenish his mana. And he is the most mana, I would say, mana utility hero in the game. And we're back to a significant advantage for the Direborn side. Oh, Pota 2, he jumps in, he finds the Gyrocopter who activates his BKB. Pota 2 needs to be able to zap away. He will be able to find that zap as Womi continues his onslaught, but will have to back out. They are this is a really good lineup at forcing out BKBs. The Storm is great at that one aspect. He'll teleport back to the fountain, replenish his HP, has 4 or 3.5 minutes left on his Aegis. DB should be able to take anyone out, I would say. Screen Protector is going to be taken out. A hook shot comes in. No BKB on the Gyrocopter, so you do have to be very careful about that fact, about how you take this team fight. Vomi activates the Shiva's Guard. A double Thunder God's Wrath takes out Deco, as well as the Spirit Bear. But again, Pota 2 jumps in. It's the vortexes with the Scepter that are creating so many problems. Aegis has been taken out, but you need to get the Gyrocopter out of the team fight. It's impossible. Paw has gone down. N1 is going to try and teleport away. Is not going to be possible. Zeus taken out. Skill lane not long for this world. And the only one alive is Momo, forced to watch by as his team goes down. But even he too will join his team in the grave. He activates his BKB, wants to make it back to his fountain, and it seems like it will be possible. But this is going to mean one lane of barracks unless you buy back, but you don't have a buyback. This might actually be 2 lanes of barracks. They'll realize that there is no buyback once they go for the second lane.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack. Radiant's bottom.
I don't know how you defend this. Oh no, Momo gets caught trying to cut the creep wave. And he's just dead. He also does not have a buyback, so when your Gyrocopter and your Zeus respawn, there's no, you don't have an offlaner. That is an absolute disaster. And D family found the comeback. They found the Gyrocopter's farm. At one point they were farming up for an entire Divine Rapier with the Satanic Butterfly. Everything built up, but they handed the game back to Direborn on a silver platter. Or I should say that this is Pota 2 Storm Spirit. This is what he does. Right? You got the solo kill on the Storm Spirit. You agitated him. You annoyed Pota 2. And this is what happens in response. Pota 2 jumps in for yet another Vortex. This time around, the Thunder God's Wrath does come out from the Zeus, but the Zeus is also inside of that Sunbeam, taking in a whole lot of damage. Mega Creeps have already been acquired, so Direborn have gotten everything they've wanted out of this high ground siege, out of the second Aegis. And quite frankly, this game seems like it is done and dusted. All that is remains is one last Vortex Zap on towards the Gyrocopter. They go all in, broken down, slowed down, and he will fall down. Zeus activates his own PKP, but this game is completely over. He too is going to fall, an entire team wipe. And despite of their stubbornness to call GG, Direborn have done it. They have swept the family under the rug. Buyback will come out by Skill Lay as they attempt to create some kind of a resistance. Momo with the BKB might be able to take out Pota2. He does. So maybe they're going to be able to keep this game going a little while longer, but he doesn't have a BKB. He is going to die alongside Skill Lay. And there we go. The GG call will come out. Gyrocopter will give up the game as there's no way to play against this. They're going to pause the game as it is over. It is over. Direborn have won game number. They even paused. They've won game number 2, guys. I get distracted. By one time they brought 5 mantles of intelligence as they won one of the games. But Direborn with a clean sweep win over the family, they take this series 2-0, and a convincing inauguration of the organization, I would say. Kudos to them. Kudos to the family for actually finding that comeback in that scenario. I will say again, the kind of players the family come in with, right? Skill Lay, Momo, Lun, Ha, and One. These are fantastic players, and they will go very far in EPL. I'm sure of it. I'm not an oracle, so that all can also not happen, but that is at least my expectation. For now, though, guys, this is only the first best of 3. We do have one more, but that is actually going to take place in 5, or rather, actually 4 hours from now. I will be signing out. Make sure to tune on in about 4 hours. There's also going to be the European circuit, so you can choose actually which one you want to watch. Because even the European matches there, you have Zibe also playing today. You have Nande and his team playing today. So a lot of really good matches at the European circuit. A lot of great matches at the Southeast Asian circuit too, as we will have Carstens playing up next. Make sure to tune on in about 4 hours, and I will see you all then.